Just spotted a big buck in some brush. I'm trying to go scroll it. It's 1 o'clock, so it's probably gonna be there for a bit. There's really only one option we see for getting in on him. It's not phenomenal, but it's what we got. This is that big egg field that usually you're in. It's a cool looking spot. We're up here in Canada, hunting with our friend Ryan Harder. On the look for a giant buck in this kind of plains country up here. Pretty excited. Been wanting to come up here and look for deer for a long time. And it took me a few years to figure out my schedule and logistics and whatnot, but finally made it happen. Couple coyotes.
There's so many coyotes.
It just feels like a place you'd see a lot of coyotes. He's just off the top, maybe 15 yards. Actually not a bad buck. Probably is an older deer. What do you think, like maybe 150, 140? No. Yeah, maybe in the 140s.
When you're just like holding out, like I'm not gonna shoot an average deer, I'm gonna hold out for a big deer, you're really putting yourself in a tight spot.
Let's do a climb over here.
Oh, see if I can see those two bucks.
Oh, it's better. He looks like a big whitetail. He looks like.
Is that same deer, you think?
I do, yeah.
So there's a lot of similarities with this place compared to the big mountains that I'm used to hunting. It's wild in its own way. And the fact that there are big deer here, they're in some ways sort of a marker of wild country because they need to be able to get away from people. They need to be able to hide in order to get big.
This is where that guy shot that big 3x3 in. Oh, right here, stuck by these trees up there. See, but it's got this drainage ditch here,
yeah.
right? Yep, it's fucking funny when they're here.
Oh, there's a couple more. Small buck.
Being able to come out to this country and chase these mule deer in their element is super special.
Well, we are doing a midday hunt here. We're gonna walk these rolling grass hills, see if we can't find something bedded out here. So, put some boots on the ground. It's really interesting. Like these deer do things that I'm not really used to in terms of their behavior. A lot of fun, kind of learning a new area, learning a new way to hunt deer. And it also got pretty warm out too, which I'm not excited about. My buddy Ryan, he is our mule deer guide for the week up here, and he has access to all of this country up here. It's a really fascinating country. You got big river kind of cruising through this, and you have these like kind of barren grass hills and these deer. There's deer down the river, there's deer up on the flats, and it's incredibly open country. So, you know, finding a big deer is always a challenge, but if you're lucky enough to find one, then figuring out how you're gonna sneak in on them is a whole other story out here, but it's very doable. And you just gotta be patient and look for the right buck. Just garbage. Oh, bullshit. I see you. Oh, I thought you were fucking with me. Harder said he saw a deer. I told him it was a rock, and he was right. There's a buck bedded down over there. And we're gonna go do a big loop, try and get this crazy wind right, see if he doesn't have any friends. He's just a small buck. But there are deer out here. We can confirm we've seen them. And I also need to start believing in Ryan when he tells me it's a buck.
You don't believe him? You didn't believe him?
No, I didn't that time, but next time I will. Thank you. I feel really good about it. We found a few more deer. He's not that big, unfortunately. Just a small little buck.
Yeah, I can't quite tell how big he is. If he's sideways there.
You had a decent angle when I whistled at you there. You just looked like a good deer.
Huh.
I can tell his off horn, his right horn is a 4.
So there's a big coulee comes off from there, forks. Got a big deer in there. That's a big coulee there. That's where I seen the big frame deer go into the other day.
Yeah, I mean, this looks just like,
Yeah.
you could just see him kind of like pop it up. Very much.
I think that's a buck right there.
You see those domes to the left. Block view now.
The farmers here, you have to get off the roads because they don't let you drive anywhere. So I like how you have to get in and dig in, and that's where you find the big ones.
They could be in the coulee, but they could be alone in the coulee and 50 yards from the top or whatever. So, but from when you go and you come in a bottom like this, you can see down that coulee.
So we keep getting to where we can see them peeking in. We've seen 3 bucks so far, a handful of does, maybe 12, 15 does. And they've got these beds, it's crazy. It looks like they took a shovel and excavated out the bed. I think the similarities between like these plains bucks and the mountain bucks is that they know how the hell to hide really well and stay away from people. Bucks about 200 yards away, and like one of them is a pretty nice buck. But we're gonna get the spotting scope so we can get a real nice look at it. They're all bedded in a row. Like they're all actually like decent bucks. One of them looks real nice, like he could be maybe be a shooter. Got a really good buck bedded over here in some brush, and there's really only one option we see for getting in on him. It's not phenomenal, but it's what we got. So I'm gonna work my way on the other side of this coulee. I just sit and wait for him to pop up, but he's a beautiful buck. I'd be really happy to get an arrow in him.
I blew that. I made a really silly mistake. I thought he was, we got maybe 50 yards from him, and we were just sitting there in position, and I sat up to try and see if I could find him in the brush, and when I did that, he was staring right my direction. And then he blew out, and he sauntered over towards the river. So who knows, maybe we see him in a day or two. I don't know, but he's still around. That was my fault. That was a really good setup. He was a nice buck. One hurts. That hurts to do that. Really, really hurts.
The archery hunt is what I prefer, because you're on the ground with them, you're at eye level, you got to get in close. These deer are not stupid. They put themselves in a situation where you need to be on your best game to kill these deer.
I think he's about width of his ears.
Which is pretty standard for
A good buck.
you
Don't have the wide genetics.
Yeah, look at them beside each other. That one
Yeah,
noticeably bigger.
he is. I wonder if they'll stay there. Nice cloudy day.
That's what I was thinking too. I bet you as long as the wind doesn't get too crazy, they probably will.
The problem is there's 2 deer bedded to the left of it. I think your approach, I guess, that's really could be a different buck, but that could certainly be our buck from yesterday. All right, marked. There's a buck. Looked really nice, but he's bedded on this open knob. So we're gonna go try and get in and see if we can't determine whether or not he's the buck we want. That's what we're doing.
No 2 mule deer out here are the same, so you never know what you're gonna dig up.
I don't think it's a smart move. I think we're just gonna believe it. I don't know what you think. No, unless you disagree. I don't see that way. It's a real heartbreaker, I'll tell you that much.
Just so many fucking deer in that one spot.
Just always.
Because there's a bunch up there. There's 7 down there. There's at least 3 bucks somewhere. There's a good kid. I just seen a heavy beam in the face. Like that same bed. Yeah, it's 100% same bed. No way, 100%. We popped over on the way back to the truck. Check out the bed where we saw that buck yesterday. We blew him out. There's a nice buck in there. Could be the exact same buck, right back. The exact same spot we saw him yesterday.
Once we relocated that deer, emotions were high, and we were all pretty excited, but the weather was cold, and being in on this deer once before and screwing it up, we kind of had a game plan to go in there, and when Brad got into position there, I was super excited.
Because we had seen this deer the day before, I knew exactly how to get in on him, and I did the exact same thing I did the day before. I went to the exact same spot I did the day before, and I sat there in the wind and rain for 3 hours over him, shivering, wet, cold, but just trying really hard not to blow it.
It's a wild animal. You don't know what's going to happen. We have our game plan, what we want him to do, but they don't often read the script.
I played every scenario out in my head. If he goes this way, if he goes that way, if he goes that way, just knowing that he's a deer and he's going to do what he wants to do. When I draw my bow back, I kind of go and like my brain just blacks out completely, but I was hyper aware in the moment of what was happening, The minute I saw him stand up, I just timed everything, honestly, perfectly.
I was shivering so bad for so long.
It was so, I'm soaked.
I'm soaking wet. Over 3 hours, just sitting there, just like, and then I saw him get up, and I was like, stop shivering, stop shivering. I am so stoked, man. Can't believe it.
It's unreal.
I can't believe it worked out.
I steadied my pins because I had to pin gap shoot him. Steady those pins right on his body where they needed to be and just let the arrow fly. I didn't want to compromise my standards. That's easy to do, and it's really easy to just convince yourself to shoot something smaller because it's easy, but I just didn't have any interest in doing that.
With the way this place is, and there's not a lot of people out here, they can get old, and age is key to big deer. They're not by highways, they're not by where there's a lot of people.